What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Big Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Will Brinson. I'm your host. It is Friday, September 23rd. And if you're watching on YouTube, about 10 more minutes till it actually is Friday, September 23rd. It's amazing in the chat. The number of over-under guesses on when we go live. Ryan Wilson, who's joining me to recap a Steelers. Oh no. Steelers lose again? Tough scene, bro. We were having a great time talking to new producer Billy, who, look, Debo will always hold a place in my heart.
Oh boy, sounds like a breakup conversation.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying I like Billy better already. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I'll venture to say that Billy will get tired of you before you get tired of Billy.
Well, that's sort of how this goes. I mean,
right.
I'm not sure if you. I mean, you've been.
We all saw Debo's face when he introduced Billy last week.
Yeah,
he was out the door.
I mean, that's like 99.9% of my relationships in life, but whatever, including you.
No, I actually like you more now than earlier.
Really?
Yeah, I told you before. You've calmed down since you had Robbie. You're less of a butthole.
Really something.
And as you just mentioned to Billy, I'm the most entertained person in your life, which is 100% true. A lot of people could probably make that claim, by the way.
Which is also saying something.
My 15-year-old was angry at me tonight because I have a thing where he has to clean his room. He's 15, but he has to clean his room because it looks like a bomb went off if he doesn't clean it. And he didn't do it, so I had to lay down the punishment, and he was trying to give me lip.
What was your punishment?
I said, can't play Xbox tomorrow. He's like, what?
It's pretty harsh. You going to follow through on that?
No, I didn't just make up the punishment. Don't you think I have like a long list of punishments that if you don't do what I need you to do? So
no, I just assume you're like I assume you're Roger Goodell arbitrarily meting out punishment.
Yeah, that's what he thought too. Joke's on him. No James Thrash on this one, baby.
Okay, so the actual reason we were late is we were talking about what movie have you seen 10 times or more. So if you're watching on YouTube, what movie have you seen 10 times or more? Like, it's basically like, what's your favorite movie? We had some
actually. Before you answer, put in there the year you graduated high school so we have some perspective.
It feels like a little bit convoluted.
Well, I mean, like I graduated in 1991. That's how old I am. And Billy graduated, 2000, probably 18. He graduated high school.
2015. Thank you.
Yeah, see? I mean, think about that. 2015.
You graduated high school in 91?
Yeah.
Dude, that is old as hell.
You're no spring chicken. Last time I checked.
At least I like the butt end of the century.
This should not surprise you. You've known me for 15 years.
Man, I can't wait. Billy's basically gonna be on camera with us by the time that we. All right, so here are the top songs from 1991 for a quick cursory Google search.
Yeah, what'd you get?
Baby Baby by Amy Grant, Rush by Paula Abdul, Losing My Religion by REM.
Yeah. Summertime
by DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Oh, that's a great summertime song still to this day.
Motown Philly.
Yeah. BBD, baby.
I would.
Oh, no, that's not BBD. Motown Philly is the.
Boyz II Men.
Oh, I was right. BBD. Yeah. Okay. No, Boyz II Men. Sorry, not Belle Biv DeVoe.
I'm like, if you're given the uses of a time machine, in theory, you should use it to go back in time to do something honorable. And
I know
to
you're
help the world become a better place.
You're going back.
I think I'm going to 91 and like finding you in the summer of 91, dancing around Eastern North Carolina to Motown Philly.
I worked at a hospital with my buddy's dad. Like ran the maintenance department of the hospital, so he worked at the hospital cutting grass all summer. And by cutting grass, I mean going off into the woods and playing stickball and not working for. This is how old I am. Minimum wage was $3.35 when I was a senior in high school.
By the way, Debo's getting a little. Debo just wrote in the chat, Debo checking in for the podcast handle. This is a guy who is suddenly getting a little.
My guy, Sam.
Say it, Debo. Like, I know I'm still here. I'm not leaving.
I mean, Ryan just dropped stickball, which I would say 90% of the chat does not know.
All right. Here are the movies. These are good ones.
Wait, people don't know stickball?
Hold on stickball. 2000 Keaton Croxton says 2010 2010 they actually listened to you on the graduation year.
Yeah, it helps give you some perspective on the. So go ahead. He watched Step Brothers. Okay.
Yes, which is and like undeniably holds up very well. Hilarious movie. Before, as to your point about Will Ferrell, this is before Will Ferrell jumped.
Yeah. Him and John C. Reilly. I have not seen that movie yet.
Ty Joseph graduated high school. And by the way, we are going to talk about the Browns 29-17 win.
In
over
5
the
minutes. We'll do
Steelers.
this for 5 minutes
Yeah,
because people
whatever.
complain that you take 20 minutes when something should take 5. Okay.
Well,
So
that
Ty,
game was whatever. Ty Joseph says graduated high school in 03. Snatch. Also, holds up, I think.
Madonna's
Guy
old
Ritchie
husband.
classic.
Guy Ritchie. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't understand anything they say, but Brad Pitt is delightful. And
Caleb Campson graduated 2014. So he's actually a year older than Billy, The Dark Knight. I just watched the 3 Christian Bale Batman movies with my 15-year-old.
what?
No, relax with my
You've seen it
10-year-old.
before, right?
Just take a step back and take a deep breath. My 10-year-old, he just turned 11, had never seen them. He's like you. He's a Marvel guy, but he decided to dip his toe into the DC world. I had seen them before. I forgot how good they were. So I'm
Okay.
all in on The Dark Knight.
Yeah,
I love Christian Bale.
Those I actually separate from the general DC
Yeah,
universe.
let's not go down that road.
Yeah, let's not. That's
JB Out West graduated 03, Return of the Jedi. I almost don't even want to include Star Wars because I've seen all these Star Wars so many times. But so wait,
Pokey Rad says I was born in 91. Does that make you feel good?
Shout out. Well, Spanky was born in 93, I believe, Sean.
God, that's right.
So that's
You're
around
an
that
illegitimate internet song.
around that time. Clarence, he graduated in 1980. Thank you, Clarence. Terminator, the whole series. Alien, these are all Lethal Weapon, like Rocky. These are all, and you've seen all those movies, I'm sure, right? Have you seen Alien, the original?
So
Sigourney Weaver.
I don't know if I've actually seen it, but mostly because I'm petrified of like.
Okay, no, fair enough. But Lethal Weapon,
I've seen all the term. Yes, of course, the Lethal Weapons and the Rockies.
Yeah, so those are like they span the. Oh, the Matrix is a good one. I don't know if I've seen the original Matrix 10 times. Billy, have you seen the Matrix?
I have.
What'd you think?
I mean, I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was like the greatest.
It was
thing
a
ever,
game
but, you know.
changer in 1999 when that thing came out. It was a mind bending.
Okay, I have a horrible confession to make.
You cried?
No,
what is it?
worse actually. I didn't see the Matrix in full until COVID.
Jeez, you missed out because it was an amazing.
I think it's incredible.
Oh, good. I'm glad you appreciate it. It was amazing in 1999 how good that thing was, and it just confirms my simulation theory.
Pierre Lapalou says 2001 Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah,
Quentin Tarantino classic, of course.
I just showed my 15-year-old. How do you feel about this? Showing my 15-year-old. What's the Quentin Tarantino one with Uma Thurman and Bruce Willis and
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction. God, I can't remember. I just showed my 15-year-old that. What do you think about showing a 15-year-old that movie?
I like how you skipped over Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson and like the Academy Award winner.
Who?
15-year-old?
I don't think you can talk about Samuel L. Jackson, bro. I think
that is true. That is true. All right, fair. I mean, my 8-year-old says more bad words than you would see in a viewing of Pulp Fiction, so I would guess I'd be fine with it. But
it was fine. He's I'm reading through these comments here. Blues Brother, Summer Rental. I've never seen Summer Rental. Raiders Lost Ark. Yeah, that's a good one. 16 Candles. Oh my gosh, all the Molly Ringwalds back in the day.
Pineapple Express.
I may have missed it. I saw it earlier. I just didn't mention it. I apologize. That's a great movie. 09. Pokey Rat said graduated 09, saw Pineapple Express is one he's seen 10 times.
Blues Brothers is great.
Yeah, it was actually came out like 80, 81, and I didn't love it. That may have been more me, and I'm not going to hold that. Oh, nice. Major League 2 from Spytat, graduated 94. The original Major League I probably said 10 times. I've forgotten about that.
Easily.
Yeah.
Somebody says Pulp Fiction.
Love it. That's in the section.
Wilson's seen that 38 times, actually.
That's in the section that's curtained off. That's not in the main section.
Dazed and Confused.
Oh, that's right. Scott Murphy. Remember this? Sean Marion used to be called the Matrix. Basketball player for the Suns.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Man. I love this throwback here. Yeah.
So what was your answer? I can't remember.
I haven't said it yet.
Yeah.
So I have a bunch. Here's why. Because again, I went to college in 91, my freshman year. I'm sorry. I graduated. I'm an idiot. I graduated in 95. I graduated high school in 91. That's what I said, though. That's right. Okay. I graduated college in 95. So when I got to high school, I might be drunk. Just a long night. So when I got to college freshman year,
you had to watch Mr. Trubisky.
Everything was right. That'll make your head hurt. Everything was VCR.
Drinking like box wine for 2.5 hours.
Yeah. So everything was VCR 1991 through 95. You had to go to the video store. So we would walk to the video store in college, rent three rentals for $5. So we watched, as my freshman year, we watched Fast Times 4,000 times. You mentioned Fast Times earlier to Billy. Mallrats and Pulp Fiction came out while I was in college at the Indie Theater. And then once it came out on VHS, I watched Mallrats and Chasing Amy, Kevin Smith movies. I've seen both of those more than 10 times. Friday, we owned
just Billy, you should just go watch Mallrats just because there's going to be like 7 different references that Wilson and I use constantly.
Yeah, I haven't used them in a while. The original.
Get off the damn escalator.
I know. The Ben Affleck before he got his teeth fixed is a high point for me. Friday, I've seen probably 5,000 times. Again, we had the VHS, so we just watched that a bunch. This is how old I am. I would call my mom in North Carolina and ask her, can you please set the VCR to tape this movie on HBO and then mail us the VHS tapes in college? Because there was no cable in college either. So that's why we watched Rudy 4,000 times.
I mean, can you imagine explaining to someone?
I'm sure Billy's head's exploding right now.
Well, I'm saying, like, do you remember TGIF where you're like, oh, I've got to be home at 8 o'clock to watch Full House and Family Matters.
And if you don't see it, you don't see it. You have to wait till the summertime and hope you catch the reruns. Tommy Boy is the same conversation. My buddy went and stood in line at the video store when it came out my senior year, I think 1995. Boys in the Hood, same situation. I've watched it 1,000 times. And
Ace
then
Ventura, Pet Detective.
I've seen it not 10 times. And then Austin Powers I've seen 10 times because we own that as well. Those are the ones that came to mind.
Oh shoot, there was something else I had that I'm forgetting because you threw me with Dumb and Dumber 10 times for sure. Ferris Bueller's Day Off 10 times for sure.
Ferris I've seen. Yeah, those are close. I don't know if I've reached 10 on that, but I've seen it obviously, and I've rewatched them now that my 15-year-old has sort of gotten into that.
Ace Ventura, like
I haven't showed him that yet. That's a good one to show him.
When he talks with his butt.
Yeah, I need to ask you a few questions.
I asked you a few questions. This is arguably the worst NFL podcast of all time.
Big Lebowski, great call, Brian J.
Great call. Love Lebowski.
I'm close to the 10 viewing mark on that one. That's a super like underrated movie.
I feel like 10 is
a lot.
No.
Oh, low. Maybe like when I was Billy's age, I could watch something a lot. At this age, I'm like, ugh.
All right, so Clarence E asked, Ferris is the most overrated movie ever.
Ooh.
Changed my mind. Have you heard about the internet theory on Ferris Bueller?
I don't want to hear it. I love Ferris.
I love Ferris. So there's a theory out there that
the car is related to another movie. Is that what happens?
No, not even close.
The Ferrari, what is it?
That Ferris is not real, but is actually a psychological projection from Cameron of what he wants to be. And if you actually like read it and then you follow it, you're like, oh my God, that actually might be true.
Owen Harrington says The Big Lebowski is the most overrated movie. I love it.
That's a terrible take.
Like when Sean was on the podcast, he was a big movie guy, and then he would occasionally crap on the particulars of movies that I'd never got. I'm not that deep. I just like movies that sort of distract.
Part of the problem is like if you're younger and you're watching these movies, they don't hold up.
Yeah, that's
in the same way that, like, for instance, everything that happens in Seinfeld could be easily solved by a cell phone.
Yeah, but Seinfeld actually holds up. That's actually not a great example. Seinfeld holds up pretty well.
I don't think millennials love Seinfeld.
My nephew, who's 20, just turned 21, loves it. And doesn't like Friends. He's obviously younger than Sean, who's Sean's crew. That age crew likes Friends.
Sean likes Friends. There you go. Sean loves Friends. That's the ultimate indictment of Sean.
Clarence mentioned Groundhog Day. That's a good one. I haven't seen it 10 times, but that's a good one. All right, let's do this.
All right, football. So let's take a break.
13 minutes, not too bad.
I guess we should talk about football.
Restart the show.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Will Brinson. I'm your host, and we are here to talk about your favorite movies. Also, the Browns beating the Steelers 29-17. Frankly, I thought the movie talk was kind of fun. Old school, Billy threw that one out, and that just can't help myself. Old school deserves to be in that watched it 10 times category.
Yeah, I haven't seen it 10 times, but I would not be surprised if many people have seen it 10 times. Sure.
So,
what movie would you say describes the Steelers season thus far through 3 games?
Oof.
Stumbles out of the gate, then utterly collapses over the final 2/3 of the movie.
I mean, it could be the Mallrats Volkswagen scene.
Oh,
By the way, you'll be pleased to know that
will I?
another bit that you created, I've somehow like accidentally stolen.
Oh, the Parenthood one.
No. See, it's worse. It's the Candy Pickett.
Oh, where'd you take that on the
I
road
said it
to?
on like a radio hit, and somebody was like, "Whoa, I'm sorry. Did you say Kitty Pickett in a redneck voice?" I was like,
Kenny
"Yeah,
Pickett.
that's what Ryan Wilson calls him on the podcast." They were like, "It was Costas." He was like, "Would you mind saying that again?"
And he
And then before I
clipped it.
said it off, he's like, "Could you say it one more time?"
Kenny Pickett.
Kenny
Kenny Pickett's on the bench right now.
Kenny Pickett needs to play, right?
Dude, I did the Brady Quinn podcast
But
yesterday. That was a lot of fun. Basically, I called myself the Brady Quinn of the Fox Saturday booth because you're Gus Johnson. You couldn't make it, so I stepped in.
How did Brady take that?
He thought it was funny.
Yeah,
But anyway, I was talking to Brady about the Kenny Pickett stuff, and no surprise to you, he also pointed out that the offense, the scheme sucks. Like sucks terribly.
Speaking of movies you've seen a bunch, did you watch South Park Bigger, Longer, Uncut?
No, is that the new one?
No, it's very old. But there's a song in there where Kyle's mom, basically the USA and Canada are at war because the Canadians bombed the Baldwins.
Oh,
and Kyle's mom does this whole song, like a big theatrical song called "Blame Canada," and that's how you define the Steelers season thus far.
Yeah, but I don't think Tomlin's going to budge on making a change, which is interesting because look, here's the thing: if you fire Matt Canada tomorrow, what does that say about why did you keep him then? It's like when a head coach in college, like Scott Frost. Why'd you keep Scott Frost? Why don't you just fire him over the summer and move on with your life? So
if you knew he was bad, what does that say about you?
I think part of it is Tomlin's stubborn, and that's probably has a lot to do with his success, but sometimes it can blow up in your face. And I feel like, look, man, I've seen every single snap that Mr. Trubisky's, every single pass he's thrown this season. And it is straight up dog doo-doo, even by Mr. Trubisky in Chicago standards. And, I talk about JT O'Sullivan occasionally on this podcast, and he has his own YouTube channel, and he broke down every single, former NFL player, played forever, every single pass of Kenny Pickett in the Patriots game. And, he said Kenny did Mitch did some good things, some bad things, but he also noted, because he's aware of such things, like Matt Canada called like 3 different plays 3 different times in the first half. And he made the point that because
Canada is the most adorable offensive play caller on the planet. He does motion and
it's not fooling anyone.
If you watch, again, now the Browns are playing preventish defense because the game is out of hand. But if you let Trubisky kind of rip it and not think too much, there's something to be said for that, right?
Do you know that the first time they threw the ball in the middle of the field on Thursday night was with 2 minutes to go when they finally targeted Pat Freiermuth for the first time? If you look at the pass chart, next gen stats, it's all on the sidelines until the final 2 minutes. Every single throw.
You're making the job harder for the quarterback. What are you doing?
Well, does this make the job harder for the quarterback? You keep calling sprint outs, and then you cut the field in half, and then Trubisky has to throw lasers into the dirt on the sidelines. Now, listen, Deontay Johnson dropped a couple passes that were good throws by Trubisky.
Crap.
Yeah, how's that look?
This chart is...
It's not unbelievable. It's quite believable if you've been watching the Steelers closely.
He's basically sprint right out, throw to like 1 or 2 options.
That's literally what I just said. That's right.
No, I know. But like, you don't see a modern NFL passing chart.
That's a lot of the talk around the league. Like the play calls that you see from him are calls that are not in many playbooks because they're antiquated and, there are answers on the other side of the ball for them. So look, the reality is this. In 10 days, they play the Jets. They might lose that game. And then if you look at the rest of the schedule, they will lose those games. And whether Kenny Pickett's out there, whether you trade for Josh Allen, it ain't gonna matter, man. And you can be hard.
Trading for Josh Allen might change it, but
no, not with those play calls. And I'm not even kidding. Like, here's the thing: you can be as stubborn as you want to be and keep Matt Canada there. Last year, you had excuses. Big Ben was too fat and too old. Mr. Trubisky is the exact opposite, right?
Didn't we cover the Matt? I just don't want to didn't we talk about Canada and his, because he was at NC State, so I am familiar with Matt Canada.
You mentioned in passing, I knew he's at Maryland. And when I talked to our buddies Bob Haney and Vinny Serrato, they mentioned, oh yeah, Matt Canada. But you didn't. I don't think you provided specifics as to why you may or may not like Matt Canada.
I mean, he was declined to be asked back to NC State.
He was the OC or the head coach? He was never the head coach, right?
But he'd been with Dave Doran for a long time. He goes up to Pitt for a little bit. I think then did he go to LSU or Maryland first?
I'll look. Go ahead and tell me.
He's been bouncing. The point being is he's been bouncing around a lot, and it feels like one of those situations where it's a guy who constantly is able to navigate his way into.
You're right. Yep, NC State, Pitt, LSU for a year. So NC State 2013 to 2015, Pitt for a year, LSU for a year, Maryland
that's a red flag if you're at 3 Power 5 colleges as an OC in 3 years.
Maryland for a year, out of the football altogether in 2019. Steelers hired him as a quarterbacks coach in 2020. Never been an offensive coordinator in the NFL until last year.
Well, yeah, exactly. Now, in his defense, in the year off, he was the Maryland coach who's the old running back. He's a former Saban disciple, was fired mid-season. Canada took over as I believe, the interim full-time coach. Maryland stunk. They cleaned house, and that
was 2018. No, he was 2018 Maryland interim coach.
Right, but then his year off happened after that when they cleaned house. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And so then it's like Pittsburgh hires him as the quarterbacks coach. With what the only reference point I can come up with is the Steelers' old running backs coach, I believe, was a former NC State running backs coach.
Yeah, but I mean, the coaching community is pretty small, so I'm sure there's plenty of overlap there. But the larger point is, and I was talking to a friend about this, here's where you start the conversation for getting an offensive coordinator. You go see who works for Sean McVay and or Kyle Shanahan, and then you go from there. You don't go find some coach that was part of the Maryland squad that they blew up the whole organization because of all the nonsense that's going on there, who has no head OC experience.
Hey, man, you're preaching to the choir here. I mean,
But my point is this. I mean, I love Tomlin, obviously. But the standard is the standard, and we don't live in our fears. There's also a saying that excuses are for losers. So you can keep making excuses every week about why this thing looks the way it does. It ain't going to magically fix itself by getting on your knees and praying every night that Matt Canada quits calling terrible plays, because that's what I'm seeing. Now, is Mr. Trubisky occasionally missing guys down the field? Yeah, he is. But I guarantee you that if Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay were coordinated up this offense, to take it to the extreme, I mean, those are the guys at the top, it would look different. If Kellen Moore was calling the plays in this offense, it would look different. I don't know who would have to call plays for it to look worse. I'm taking suggestions.
No, I'm trying to find out who the running back coach is that recommended him, because I know that's exactly what happened.
How do you know that's what happened?
Because, Eddie Faulkner. Bang. How you like that now? Eddie Faulkner was the former tight ends, fullback, special teams coordinator at NC State.
I don't feel any better.
Ended up at Pittsburgh. That's why they drafted Jalen Samuels. And I guarantee you, he recommended Matt Canada as the play caller, because Canada was hired in 2020 while Faulkner was the running backs coach under Tomlin.
What is happening here?
No, that's the right call, Ian.
Look, I'm going to put this honestly. If you're hiring a bunch of NC State leftovers, are you doing the right thing? Yes.
We're at the point now where you're dunking on the Wolfpack.
Look at myself here.
Lordy T mercy.
Yeah, go Tar Heels.
There it is.
Not wait until it's just Billy and go Tar Heels.
Scott Murphy in the comments says it would look worse if Princeton was calling the plays in his spirit animal, Matt Nagy. I don't know. Like, I'm not even kidding. I don't know.
I mean, I would be a better play caller, honestly.
I would be fine with giving that a shot, because it's clearly not working.
I ran the highest scoring team in 8+ year old flag football this past.
By the way, ESPN's Brooke Pryor asked Tomlin after the game whether he would consider making changes to quarterback, play caller, etc. Quote, the answer to that question is definitively no, end quote. Hey, man, you do you.
He's going to have to change at quarterback at some point. Okay. I mean, we're saying, Pokey Rat asks, where's your diploma from? First of all,
DeVry.
That's none of your GD business. Ace, do you have any more gum?
What's that from?
That's an Ace Ventura quote.
Oh,
Ace, you got any more of that gum? UNC Greensboro is the answer, actually. So all right, look, we're gonna look at the Steelers schedule. Oh boy.
Yeah, that's right. I just
Oh,
talked about
boy.
it. I told you the Jets game. They're going to lose that game, and then they're going to lose the rest of those
If
games.
they lose at home to the Jets,
It's a wrap.
they're not. They're at Bills, Buccaneers
Lost.
at home, at
Lost.
Dolphins, at Eagles, Saints at home.
Yeah, I got no answers. I'm just like Matt Canada. No answers.
I don't know when you fire up.
That's the thing. That's the other thing.
If you don't fire up Pickett in week 4, and you're 1-2, so you really can't do it, and you could be 2-1 if you'd beaten the Patriots at home, and it's a 3-point game. It's not impossible. You can't lose to the Jets and fire up Pickett against Bills, Bucks, Dolphins, Eagles with 3 or 4 on the road. That is malpractice.
This team has scored 23 points. That includes a pick 6 from Minka in week 1, 14 points last week in an absolutely anemic effort, and 17 points tonight.
And
Kenny Pickett isn't going to fix stupid play calls.
And all right, let me ask you this. Prisco and I are arguing about this. Tomlin should have on the 4th and 1 late. They probably weren't winning.
4th and 6 in the zone in.
No, but then they got the penalty on the Browns, I believe. No. The final where they had one timeout and they kicked
Oh, I was fine kicking it.
I mean, it's probably.
I think the math says kick it.
Oh, really?
I think so because you don't want to waste time. And then what?
Well, but my thought was you go try and score the touchdown quickly, and then you may have a chance to get the ball back.
Try to score it quickly.
Have
you seen this offense? Yeah, if it's a competent offense, maybe you have the conversation. Maybe if you're a little closer, you have that conversation. But this was, I mean, at no point where Kevin Stefanski at no point looked worried. And this is a 4 days removed from the obliteration at the hands of Joe Flacco.
He's like, do you have Flacco? No, you got Trubisky.
Yeah, he might as well have been sitting in a lawn chair drinking, sipping on iced tea.
On the bright side, George Pickens, awesome.
There's not a bright side. What George Pickens got like 2 targets the last 2 weeks, and let's start.
Because he piped up, he tried to play this. This is a sick catch. I mean, this was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what he's doing all training camp.
The wheel angle, you can't do it as a rookie in a Tomlin program.
23 points, 14 points, 17 points, and you don't throw the ball in the middle of the field. Okay, what should he do? Just sit there and watch?
See, this is where we need like an actual like quick fix Pick Six podcast merchandise store. We can fire out like a Blame Canada. We put Canada's.
It's a Paramount property, so I don't think we get sued for
weird looking goober face on there, or someone who looks like him. I don't know. I mean, like you find like because you don't want to get sued for infringing his personal property.
I don't know if you get sued for that. I mean, Matt Patricia wore a Roger Goodell clown shirt when he got off the plane for the Super Bowl.
But he didn't make the shirt. I'm saying we should make the shirt.
By the way, Karma paid Matt Patricia back pretty handsomely.
It turns out Matt Patricia sucks. Although Matt Patricia is somehow a better OC than Matt Canada.
Oh, I would trade 3 first-round picks for Matt Patricia to call plays at this point.
Okay, all right. If you're watching right now on YouTube, put in ridiculous names. I'll come. I've got a couple. I'm going to throw at Wilson. Put in ridiculous names that you would nominate for offensive coordinator of the Steelers, and we'll see if Wilson would take them over Matt Canada.
Yes.
I will start. Matt Patricia.
Yes.
Joe Judge.
Yes. K-Tide mentioned that in the comments. I don't know.
Adam Gase.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Adam Gase is a good offensive coordinator. He just can't. Scott Frost. No, I would not. Keaton take Scott Frost.
I would take Scott Frost over Matt Canada. Will Brinson.
Yeah.
Oh, that was very quick.
Jeff Fisher. Yes. Defensive mind. Jeff Fisher. Absolutely.
Juan Castillo.
Ben McAdoo. 100% Timothy Benson.
You would take. Oh my God, this has gotten dark.
Pat McAfee.
Hell yes, I take McAfee over Matt Canada. McAfee would do some crazy stuff in there.
And they would respect him.
Nandi Asamoah.
Yeah, he's smart. He went to Cal, I believe.
Mitchell Trubisky.
Breach's daughter. Yes, Keaton. 100%. Bobby Petrino.
Hell yeah.
Only if you wore the neck brace.
And was like on a motorcycle.
On a motorcycle.
Yeah.
I would do that.
Bobby Petrino is an NFL OC would actually probably be pretty good.
Ted Lasso.
Yes,
Mike Zimmer. No Mike Zimmer. I would not.
That's the line. Is Mike Zimmer.
It'd just be run. You'd run. Not just legs would fall
off. Kirk Cousins, but it's always 8 p.m. on Monday.
Well, I mean, I would imagine Kirk Cousins is probably a little more progressive in his play calling than Matt Canada. And Brady mentioned this on the Brady Quinn podcast.
Somebody threw up Peyton Manning and Cliff Kingsbury. Are you kidding me? Wilson would get another tattoo. Actually, Wilson probably got a tattoo since.
Yeah,
He
you
would
haven't seen
kill
that.
to have this guy.
Brownie the Elf's pretty funny. But here, yeah, former William Mary coach Lou Holtz, and NC State.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, way back in the day, black and white pictures.
Yeah,
But Brady mentioned this on the Brady Quinn football show yesterday that
I hired Brady Quinn in a second to call plays.
Yeah, no, he'd be great. Some guys are just check boxes in terms of play calling, and some guys have a plan. Because I said to Brady, how is it that you script the first 10 to 15 plays and the Steelers 10 to 15 plays all in 3 and outs? Like, what are you doing?
Matt Canada is in constant save my job mode. I think he spends 75% of his time like going into somebody's office and be like, hey man, hey boss. You know what was weird about that game plan was I wanted to run this and like this other coach like tried to run this. Am I right? Like high five. It's like a Silicon Valley power play type of thing.
What is someone Brian J actually this one is actually where I draw the line. Booger McFarland. I don't think I'm
he actually said Booger McFarland.
I didn't want to
There's a decent chance that Brian J texts his friends fart enough that it autocorrected to Brian McFarland.
Yeah, he's telling on himself.
Oh, you almost snorted. I love it. Pete Briscoe. Hell yeah, Pete.
No way. No.
He would take Briscoe over Matt Canada in a heartbeat.
Pete would punt every 4th and 1. He would punt every 3rd and 8, and he would run the ball.
Talbot punted his own instant down like 2 scores.
4th and 6. I mean, it's just giving up. That's waving the white flag.
Is that Joe Logan? Is that supposed to be Joe Rogan? I would at least be intrigued.
Here's the thing, man.
Calling plays.
Keaton mentions Urban Meyer. If you put him in the booth, 100%.
Urban Meyer calling plays, give it to me. Yes.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy I would take him over Canada, but I wouldn't be happy about it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, I don't think it's going to change. I mean, he just said definitively no. Mike Tomlin did. So if you say definitively no about the quarterback and the OC, what's as soon as you can fire them as you look at that schedule?
Would you hire the CEO of a Cruiser? Is that the name of it?
Sure. I think it's an insurance firm.
Yeah. You don't know him. You don't know what he looks like. You don't know what his background is.
It could be a woman. Yes. I don't care. Yes.
Okay.
I would hire the Celtics coach who's now suspended. I don't know. I didn't know who he was until he got.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to the schedule talk.
Okay.
I'm not sure that's going to age well for.
I don't know the backstory. I didn't know who he was.
I get the joke. I'm down with it, but I'm trying to make sure
it must be bad if you're moonwalking away from it.
Anytime like a story is less than like 48 hours old.
Brad Stevens?
He's the GM.
Oh.
But any type of story is less than like 48 to 72 hours old and the professional sports team suspends someone for a year, there's some
without naming a reason.
Right. They're like,
all right. I rescind that comment. And I won't take the Celtics coach, and I will not also take Brett Favre. All right, let's move on.
Okay. Okay. Good recovery.
There you go.
Okay. What is the next Steelers win? Actually, hold on. One more suggestion for
the schedule. What is it?
It's pretty funny. Borat.
Yes. And he's wearing the little wrestling. What's the wrestling thing called? What did Emilio Estevez call it in the movie? The required uniform.
I think it might be at Falcons in December.
I was going to say either week 12 or week 13.
If they don't beat the Jets.
So the Colts in week 12 and then Falcons. But both those games are on the road, by the way.
They could lose to both those teams.
Of course they could. Have you seen them play? 23, 14, 17.
We literally talking about watching them play, and we spent 15 plus minutes talking about movies we'd rather watch for 10
What if they have like a top 3 pick and, CJ Stroud's there? They have to draft.
Okay, that's actually a really important point about the 2022 Steelers is that
oh my gosh,
you have to recognize what you are. That is so important in the NFL. You have to know your identity as a team. And if I were a Steelers fan, I'd be worried that Tomlin was so concerned about the not below 500 thing that he might not play. Like you have to play Pickett and find out what you have.
I don't know if he cares about the 500 thing. He's seen that offense. A singlet is what it's called. Thank you for pointing that out in the comments. I don't know. I mean, look, you can.
He literally said, no, I won't change anything.
I understand that, but you might want to protect your 500 record. But if you're playing with a bunch of goons out there, that's not going
to. Why would you not? I mean, all right, let's say that either you or me are Omar Khan, who took over as GM. You go down and say, "Here's the deal, Mike. You're firing Matt Canada." This is what I would do. I'd say you're firing Matt Canada, and you were starting Kenny Pickett. And I don't care.
What if he says no? What are you going to do? Fire Mike Tomlin? Get out of here. You're not talking sense now.
Mike Tomlin would be hired in a second, but like you can't preside over this. It's bad.
I don't know what the relationship is. Mike Tomlin might have it might be 50-50.
I think they're boys.
No, my point is that in terms of like who has the most power, because
that's a good point too. We don't because Kevin Colbert steps away. We don't know.
Because he and Kevin work together on a lot of things, and Kevin said on the way out that they were usually on the same page about most things.
I feel like it's a both directly report to the president situation.
Yeah, I don't know how much Art Rooney cares about the day-to-day stuff.
No, but I was saying like I don't think that at least when it was Colbert and Tomlin that either could make a decision independent of each other. Like Colbert couldn't say you're playing this guy on Sunday, and Tomlin couldn't say you're drafting this guy. It's who.
No, that's right. They
report both independently to Art Rooney.
No, I think they both independently, they both together come to some consensus. That seemed to be the impression I got from the way both of them talked about it.
Right, but I'm saying like Kevin Colbert couldn't fire Mike Tomlin, and Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, I would believe that.
So if it is possible that the dynamic has changed, I would guess not, and the Steelers and the Rooneys prefer that same power structure.
So Clarence asked the question, how much of this angst is classic overreaction, short week and early in the season? Still basically preseason for the vets. That's a fair question. And look, I'll be honest, like Mr. Trubisky he's been about what I expected, probably a little better than what I've expected, if I'm being honest with you. The offensive line has been out of this world, like all pros compared to what we saw in the preseason. So they've actually improved a little bit. But again, I don't know is Matt Canada going to get better as a play caller? Like the man's 49, 50 years old.
No, we just spent 10 minutes chronicling.
Deontay Johnson had a couple drops. He has a couple drops every once in a while. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, Billy says it's time to break.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will discuss the winning team.
Yeah,
as is typical for this podcast,
Amen.
The Browns, and where they go next. An interesting 2-1 coming up after the break next. So the Browns, we could keep talking Steelers, but
no, let's talk about the Browns.
Billy runs a tight ship. Devo lets us go a little loose.
I'd rather talk about the Browns.
The Browns won the game. They're now 2-1. Should be 3-0.
How angry do you think in the back of Kevin Stefanski's mind is that they're not 3-0 stacking these wins without Deshaun Watson?
I mean, if you're 3-0 right now as the Browns and you know you have Watson coming back.
You're going to be 4-0 next week. You play at Atlanta, almost certainly. Things are changing. Brownie the Elf is 1-1.
Do we have I'm going to look, and I'm going to pull a Wilson and ask, do we have a to make or miss the playoffs bet available on the Browns? Because, I mean.
What are you thinking? This goes back to Clarence's question about overreactions after a couple of weeks.
No, I just think they should be 3-0. And I mean,
Jacoby Brissett played fantastic. Credit to him. And I think he was their most important offseason pickup.
Where did he go to college?
He went to NC State.
Where did Mr. Trubisky go to college?
He went to Tar Heels. I didn't realize that Mr. Trubisky grew up 25 miles from First Energy.
Yeah. Go Tar Heels.
Love it. Why were you saying that even?
I don't know. Go Tar Heels.
Oh, you don't want to talk about it. You just want to keep saying it.
Okay. No, I really don't remember anything. What are you talking about?
How mad were you that Drake May was calling out NC State?
Not mad at all. I loved it.
You know, it's funny. I was texting my buddy that I went to high school.
That they made him apologize.
That's utterly. I was texting my buddy
like stories about just like shut up. It's like
text my buddy that I went to high school with. He went to NC State literally because he didn't get into UNC, and he was so angry that Drake May said that. He said he better watch his ass because we won't come after him when we play him. I was like, all right, well, we'll see what happens.
I tell you what, he was fired up. He better watch his ass. We gonna come.
Drake May. Who does Drake May think he is? Is he related to Sean May?
Hey, Billy. I should have asked you this in the introductory call that I didn't attend, but you don't have any connections to North Carolina at Chapel Hill, right?
He's a Philly guy.
I do not.
Okay, good. Just making sure. I
By the
only
way,
have one veto available to me in my career at CBS, and
to be clear, I just said is Drake May related to Sean May. I meant Luke May. He's Luke May's brother, I believe. Is that right?
he is Luke May's brother.
Yeah. Sean May is
Sean May is actually their father.
spelled differently.
That's how old Sean May is.
And basketball.
I don't see a Browns make or miss playoffs odds available because it's pretty freshly after the game. But man, I mean,
I'll give you odds. What odds do you want? I'll take it.
Do you see what their schedules?
Yeah, it gets hard after they beat the Falcons.
At Falcons.
Yep.
Got to win it. I mean,
Then they're going to lose a bunch of games.
Their rush game is good enough where they could beat the Chargers or Patriots.
Myles Garrett disappeared against the worst offensive line in NFL.
Oh, in his defense, they were rolling Trubisky right every single.
Rolling Trubisky right and throwing the ball out of bounds every single snap. Plus 1,000. How disrespectful!
I assume that's Billy that pulled that. Debo wouldn't be smart enough to pull that fast. I would probably get down with. I would be intrigued by. You don't want to bet on the Browns. I don't want the Browns to be good. I want the
Plus
Browns
300 sounds way too low.
3-1 of the Bengals is intriguing.
They're going to be 0-3 in a couple days. They're going to lose to the Jets.
They're going to be the Jets.
They're going to lose to the Jets.
I mean, I picked the Ravens, so I'm not backing off the Ravens take. But
let me ask you this: so JPP signed with the Ravens on Thursday.
That's a desperation. It's a stinky cologne. They gave him above vet minimum.
But here's the thing: if you're the Steelers, don't have TJ Watt. Why don't you sign JPP
instead of like the Ravens sign? I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so here are the games the Browns have left before Deshaun Watson comes back. And I mean, like, this will sound hot takey. I'm not 100%.
Hold on before you go on. So let's assume they beat the Falcons next week and they're 3-1. So let's go through the rest of the schedule and see what their record. We think the record will be when Deshaun comes back.
Chargers at home.
That's an L. Because
I don't think it's not definitely an L.
Not definitely, but we have to make a choice here.
Debo, look how fast he gets these graphics up.
So a win or loss against the Chargers. We'll assume that Justin Herbert's 85% at that point.
I mean, I'll say loss, but I don't think it's. Dude, Brandon Staley's teams suck against the run, and that's the one thing the Browns do really well.
So win or loss?
I will say win.
The Browns will win
at home against the Chargers.
Okay, 4-1 Patriots.
Win.
Oh God, 5-1. This is all with Jacoby Brissett too, by the way. All right.
Yeah.
Ravens.
Loss.
5-2 Bengals.
Okay, I think that it's fair to say the Chargers, Bengals at home, they're going to go 1-1. So I'll say loss against the Bengals.
5-3 going into the bye. Okay, then your Dolphins on the road. What are you pausing for? Based on what we've seen so far,
they can't beat the Dolphins on the road.
No.
Okay, I'll say loss.
5-4 at Bills.
Loss.
5-5, and then he can come back for Tampa, right?
No, Houston. Remember, he's at Houston is the first game.
Why? That's week 12, the Tampa game. Oh, the 11 games. Sorry, gotcha. Yeah.
Just remember that, he was traded from Houston, where he
I was
allegedly committed all these things.
So 5-5.
His first game back is in Houston.
Yeah. No, I got it now. I forgot that I didn't count the bye. So Tampa, they're 5-5 going into that game.
I will. I think they're gonna be 6-5 going into Houston.
Okay. In that case, you should make that bet. Well, you don't have to bet, but that doesn't mean they'll win the division.
But they still have to play the Bengals and Ravens, and I guess the Steelers count for something.
The schedule is immeasurably easier after Deshaun Watson gets back. So if you're all in for them to win the game, so you have them winning up until Deshaun Watson returns, certainly they should be able to continue that with a guy who hasn't played football in 2 years.
If they can beat it, I'm not sure. Okay, first of all, if they can beat Atlanta and go 2-2 in those games before the bye, they're in great shape.
Yeah, but coming out of the bye,
football's weird. It's weird.
At Miami, at Buffalo, Tampa. I
think 1-2 is fine there.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic. I'm not sure if they can do it
before the bye.
Okay, we'll see. You're optimistic.
Okay, what's make it in the chat? What's the over under? They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games left at Atlanta
before
versus Chargers versus Patriots, at Ravens versus Bengals, at Dolphins, at Bills versus Tampa. What would be your over under for wins? I think it would be it's 3.5 juice to the over or 4.5. Because you feel like Atlanta's a win.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably 3.5. I think the over under would be 3.5 for those games.
Okay.
I would take the over.
Yeah, you're optimistic. I will give you usually are about those sorts of things. I'm less so because the Browns will find ways to Browns it up. The thing is that if they
Keaton in the chat asked, this is a very good question, actually. How
What?
screwed is the NFL if the Browns and Watson make the Super Bowl?
oh, that won't happen. The Illuminati will make sure it doesn't.
You will see a some sort of, I mean, you don't want to, I don't want to say assassination attempt.
Oh my gosh.
Someone's hamstring is going to get
Alien abduction. How about that?
Yes, there you go. Alien abduction.
By the way, just for an idea, like the Browns still have some things to work out. Like I mentioned, I think I mentioned it on the HQ after show, post game. They had 3 times 12 men on the field on defense. Like, what are you doing? They almost messed up that onside kick again, which is almost impossible to do 2 weeks in a row. There are some sort of lingering things that if you're playing
maybe under 3.5 is a better bet. Okay, actually, you know, bring that schedule back up real quick. Okay, I want to revise this.
No, my point. They found a way to win.
I'm wrong. I'm over my skis on this one. Can we
All
bring that schedule back up? I guess Devo's in charge again. Can't get the schedule back up. There we go. They're 2-1 against the Panthers, Jets, and Steelers. They might suck.
Jeez, that was a quick turnaround because they didn't.
Yeah. I'm yeah.
Look, man.
This is the first 4. Those first 4 games are the easiest 4 games you can possibly get gifted.
But Jacoby Brissett hasn't really played poorly.
No.
He played really well on Thursday night. If Stefanski can just run the ball, don't overcomplicate it. Keep giving Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt the ball. That'll take care of a lot of your concerns.
I think the over-under is 2.5 now.
Okay, that's fine. Like I was never high on the Browns, but you went from extremely high to relatively low at a record time.
Well, I mean, like I guess I think I was probably overvaluing the Steelers. Maybe. I mean, the Panthers are terrible. The Panthers are terrible.
That.
The Jets are terrible. The Steelers are terrible.
Yeah, Steelers are terrible.
And they're like they could easily be 1 and 2. And
let me ask you this: who wins more games, the Steelers or the Lions?
Lions.
Yeah, I don't even think it's like you shouldn't even hesitate at that half a second.
Yeah. Sorry. Look, my bad. I got over my skis in the Browns. I'm sorry.
Hey, but you're right. 3 years ago, you picked the Steelers to finish last in the division. It's coming to fruition.
Finally, 3 years later. Oh man, the Browns. The Browns are. Oh, you know what we want, Wilson? We want the Browns to blow out the Falcons in Week 4, and then we just fade the crap out of the
load up on the Chargers
the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Justin Herbert practiced on Thursday for the first time he hadn't previously because of the rib injury. So we'll see what state he's in this weekend, and then obviously the subsequent weekend. I don't know.
Like, I think Herbert will be fine. He's going to play this weekend.
Let me ask you this: is the AFC not as good as we thought it was?
You may be onto something there. So let's bring up the NFL standings and think about so the Dolphins are probably better than we thought, but we're not 100% sure.
Well, they were getting their doors blown off until the final quarter.
That's what I'm saying. We're not sure. God, look at Billy as a ninja with this.
Billy knows how to use the internet.
God, I can't believe we hired that old geriatric Debo for this job originally. The AFC North is kind of terrible.
Yeah, every team has a major flaw.
Denver is currently the second place team in the AFC West.
By the way, Nathaniel Hackett, I would not want anywhere near the Steelers. So let me be clear about that.
All right, if you're doing AFC playoff teams right now, Buffalo wins the division more than likely. I would give it to Baltimore in the North.
Yeah.
Kansas City in the West.
And you're Jacksonville Jaguars, I think.
I mean, you picked the South winner.
Yeah. No, look at the other teams. They're terrible.
Sorry, so Jaguars there. So who are the 2 wild card teams? Miami and
oh god, can you not do? Miami and
Chargers or
Cleveland
or
the Chargers. Yeah.
I mean, man, the AFC does not look that great. That's a great point by you.
And meanwhile, Debo's Eagles and Billy's Eagles look like world beaters.
Who's Debo?
Some dude. He was in Friday. I'm
just kidding. We love Debo here.
Vikings look terrible. I think it's more Kirby than O'Connell.
So who's the 6th best team in the AFC?
Oh gosh.
Like 2 and a.
Oh, the Dolphins. The Dolphins are.
Yeah.
The Chargers. The Chargers are fifth or higher if you haven't won the division like I do.
The Dolphins are fifth. Who's the sixth best team? Oh, I forget we have 7 wild cards.
Chargers.
I'm an idiot. The Jets are in the playoffs right now.
Good. They're going to win this weekend too against the Chiefs.
Oh my God.
They're going to beat the Bengals and they're going to beat the Steelers, and they're going to be 3-1.
If the Jets beat the Bengals, I mean, I have
If they're 3-1, if they win 3 games in a row, they go to 3-1, and then Zach Wilson's healthy. What are you doing?
not playing Zach.
I think you slow foot it, don't you?
What do you do? What do you do if you're the Brown or the Browns stink? I forgot. Man. All right. So who's the 7th best team in the NFC? Scroll down. Either Billy or Debo, depending how quickly it happens. Oh, yeah, there we go. Definitely Billy. It's
Green
fast.
Bay. Look at that. That's crazy town.
I mean, I would take the NFC against the AFC right now.
That's hilarious that Minnesota's 3rd.
Take the Giants out and put
No, leave them there. Brian Dable's doing a great job.
all right. Did we leave anything out on this?
Amari Cooper looked fantastic. Jacoby Brissett looked fantastic. The running game looked fantastic. It's
You know who could use Amari Cooper?
to play quarterback, the Dallas Cowboys. It still remains a mystery to me, like a Robert Stack unsolved mystery for those of us who watched television in the 80s. Why Stefanski refused to use the running game last year when he's trying to get Baker Mayfield killed at the end of the season. It was like that is like it's not manslaughter, that's attempted murder. Like you're not actually, you didn't hit the guy with your car.
Was he trying, I mean, maybe it was he was trying to chase Baker out, but they didn't know that he.
Well, he did it. I don't know why you wouldn't lean on the running game, but when you do, it makes his life a lot easier.
Nick Chubb is so good.
The thing is, he's amazing. He's great. And the thing is, you bring in Kareem Hunt, and Kareem Hunt, you can't tackle no matter what. And then what about
Kareem Hunt gets an extra 2 yards every
time?
carry. But
Every
Chubb,
time.
Chubb is the 2nd highest yards per carry amongst all active running backs all time. Behind only. Ooh, can you name this?
LDT?
No. He's it's I think minimum is like 500 carries or 900 carries. But 3rd is Jim Brown. 2nd is Nick Chubb, and number 1 is.
Is it OJ?
It's anybody in the chat got it? I'll make Debo send you something if you can get this in the chat. Number 1 all time
yards per carry. You have to have at least 500 or something. Is that what you said?
It's at least like 5. It's you're a prominent running back to qualify for this list.
Earl Campbell?
No, it's not somebody who's a Hall of Famer.
Oh, really? See, it must be an NC State player.
It's not an NC State player.
I have no idea.
Jamal Charles.
Oh, they said that in the friggin' graphic and I missed it.
I mean,
Jamal Charles. Yep. George Sully got it.
Not on me. There you go. Good job, George Sully.
Peyton Hillis is a great guest, by the way. 1 year Peyton. That was a good year too, though.
Oh my God. Peyton Hillis on the cover of Madden was unbelievable.
Hey, good
all right.
man.
That should do it for us.
Yeah.
I'm going to go watch Old School. Maybe Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, I got to figure out the next time that we get together after Steelers win. That could be a while.
I mean, if they don't beat the Falcons or Jets.
Same difference. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. If they don't win, it might be December.
Definitively no changes. Right. So look forward to that.
That's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. For Wilson, I'm Brinson. We will see you guys later.